Chop Robinson has been turning heads and making a splash in his rookie season with the Miami Dolphins. He's a talented player who has barely scratched the surface of his potential. Throughout college, he consistently stood out, which caught the Dolphins' attention. Once he gets comfortable in the NFL, he has the ability to wreck games week in and week out. Coming from my stomping grounds in Montgomery County, Maryland, where he played ball for the Montgomery Village Chiefs. Shout out to the guys I went to school with who coached him. With talents like Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs, Jordan Addison, and Jordan Seaton, Montgomery Village is definitely producing some stars, proving to be an impact player at every stop along the way. His performance so far this season showcases great potential, especially as the team develops strategies to maximize his talents. So when you're taking a look at Chop Robinson's game, his excellent hand usage stands out. He's a bendy rusher with the skill to execute ghost rushes that evade offensive tackles. Throughout college, he showed that he had a knack for being slippery when attacking quarterbacks, a trait that has successfully translated to the NFL. So activating the system. So zooming in on Chop Robinson, we love to see the way that this guy can be able to fire off the ball. Just watching the hand usage is so good to be able to see this zoomed in when it comes down to this type of player. He's a very slick, sudden type of defensive end. And having a player that ran a 4.49 and a 40, playing that defensive end position, that is absolute trouble. And keying in on that ghost rush that he just did on number 65, not many defensive ends can be able to do that. You have to be athletic and have the ability to be able to bend well. And usually, when you can be able to get past the tackle that quickly, they can make a beeline straight to the quarterback. And that's exactly what he did on this play, closing in and getting a big time sack. And it's so good to be able to see this because he's one of the players that you can play on the left side. You can play him on the right side. He can be in that wide nine stance, doing anything to be able to give trouble to these tight ends and these tackles in the league. And the better defensive ends in the NFL, they have to have an understanding of using their hands well, those club moves, swipe moves. He's one of those athletes that has all of that in his arsenal. So this ended up being a dominating rep by Chop Robinson, going out there and hunting down a quarterback and completely ruining the entire play for the offense. Here's another rep here showing his ability to use his hands and speed to close in on a quarterback. While he's come close to getting sacks many times, even his misses affect quarterbacks, forcing bad throws that can lead to turnovers. This ability to disrupt plays helps shift momentum in games. And this is needed when it comes down to your first round defensive end. So we're going to split it. So running this play here, just watching Chop Robinson download this right tackle, being very patient and looking at that right tackle, extend his right arm. And the good thing about this play, as soon as that right tackle extended his right arm, Chop Robinson was able to counter it quickly, getting leverage and finding a way to close in and sandwich this quarterback. And this is a thing of beauty when it comes down to defense. If you have all these guys on the same page, they can go out there and make things happen. And seeing these two guys completely sandwich that quarterback like that, that was awesome to see, and it shows teamwork. Whenever you can be able to get your hands on these quarterbacks quickly, it can force an errant throw, or sometimes it can be a big time turnover in the game. But it's good to see Chop Robinson, the way that he was patient, the savvy hand usage. Some of these defensive ends, they try to be overly aggressive and bull rush these tackles. But when you're seeing a player in Chop Robinson, there is a lot that he needs to learn. But when you have players like Bradley Chubb around you, Calais Campbell, these are veterans that have been around for a long time. So I'm sure with these veterans, they're going to get him in position to win. So this ended up being another great rep by Chop Robinson. If you want to see some of the best Miami Dolphins helmets and upgrade your man cave or your room this holiday season, check out Green Gridiron's page in the description. These helmets are torch, available in mini or regular size with the visors, and they are built to last a lifetime. Click the link and use promo code JC Network for a discount on these amazing helmets. Now let's get back to the film session. Here's a rep here that had to be one of my favorites. Chop Robinson knocks the tight end off balance, powers through the right tackle, and gets a half sack. Absolute fireworks. And this is the type of play that separates the men from the boys. Seeing a player like Chop playing with his hair on fire will get the entire Dolphins organization hyped. So we'll go ahead and run it. So zooming on this play here, just watching Chop Robinson completely knock Hunter Henry off his tracks. And it's so good because you see the power from him. I mean, he's one of the guys, if he can get his hands inside, he can be able to reset you quickly. But seeing him get his hands on a tackle, disengage, and quickly get to the quarterback, this is exactly what you want from your young stud defensive end. Somebody call the police. Chop Robinson caught 3 bodies. And it's so good to be able to see this from this player This was one of the games where he really broke out, but he has been doing this since preseason, jumping off the screen and making big time plays. He's not a perfect prospect, but I believe that once this guy gets it, he can be as good as any defensive end in the NFL. Because with this player's energy, you can tell that this guy wants it. And usually those are the players that are successful. But seeing him completely reset that tight end and make a move on that tackle to get to the quarterback, it was a thing of beauty, fans family. Another skill set I like from Chop is his ability to speed rush and bull rush. And his power will only increase as he develops in the NFL and gets stronger. Seeing him use his bull rush, disengage from the left tackle, and force another bad throw from the quarterback is exactly what your defensive coaches want to see. So we're going to split it. So running this play here, watching Chop Robinson attack him inside. And it's so good because if you can be able to get your hands inside these guys' pecs, you can be able to control them and watching him dip down and knock this guy completely off balance. And the thing is with this player, he could be a quarterback's worst nightmare. He didn't get the sack on this play, but just seeing it in slow motion that he was able to touch the quarterback again and the quarterback could not get off an accurate ball was a thing of beauty. And these are the plays that we like to show you guys in slow motion because a lot of these plays we cannot catch in real time. But by seeing the film and seeing the way that this player is playing with the speed rush, the ghost rushes, you can tell that once this player gets comfortable, he can be one of those athletes with 10 or more sacks every season. And usually, when you can have a player that can use speed to power, power to speed, when you're going up against some of these right tackles in the NFL, they're not as athletic as left tackles, so it can give these players fits. But seeing him going out there and using his bull rush and finding a way to get to the quarterback, it was another solid rep by Chop Robinson. Chop could have added about 3 or more sacks to his stats if he'd finished his tackles. While he consistently beats offensive linemen and gets his hands on the quarterbacks, there have been times where the quarterback escapes. And on this particular play, the quarterback completes a deep touchdown pass outside the pocket. His aggression and athleticism is promising, but he needs to seal the deal on these plays. So we're going to run it. So Keenan on Chop Robinson, he's firing off the ball. Love the hand usage. He loves to get his hands inside. He does the same exact move to be able to get away from this player. And he was beating this guy all game. This is really a mismatch by watching film. But seeing him evade 75, wrap his arms around a quarterback, and completely miss that would-be sack. And this is not the only missed sack that I've seen from him. This has happened a few times throughout this season, but that bought the quarterback enough time to find the open guy for a touchdown. And with these players in the NFL, especially being a rookie, it is not going to always be perfect. It was great to see him fire off the ball, strike his opponent, and gain leverage. But this is something that I'm sure that he'll be able to learn from because with this player, he makes a lot more good plays than bad. But making sure you get that sack on that quarterback and not allow him to be able to get outside the pocket is critical. So I definitely wanted to show y'all this rep as well. And it's always good to see the good plays and the bad plays when it comes down to these athletes. This is what we do when it comes down to the JC film sessions because we don't want to overhype these players and lead you guys the wrong way. We got to keep it even Steven when it comes to breaking down film. So on this final play here, it's great to see Chop giving good effort on key plays. You'll see him follow through on plays and find ways to bat down balls for incomplete passes. And these hustle plays matter, and they're exactly the kind of reps that stand out to the coaching staff. So let's run it. Running this play here, you see he's trying to attack inside. He knew he couldn't be able to get to the quarterback, so he shoots out into the perimeter. And it's good to see the IQ and awareness from this player just lurking on the quarterback, and he bats the ball down. And these are the plays here that scouts and coordinators got to pay attention to. Being an athlete that can play with a high motor and watching him all throughout college, running stunts, shooting out in coverage, you can be able to utilize this guy all within the gridiron. But being a player that's going out there in open field and having the long arms to be able to bat down a pass, it was good to see. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with Chop Robinson. He's the type of player that if you continue to build around him, it's going to allow the defense to be able to take that next step. But when you have Bradley Chubb, you have Calais Campbell, and all those explosive players on offense, all they have to do is put it together. Chemistry is key, so it's going to be good to see how these guys are going to play out going forward. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Chop Robinson, and do y'all think that he can be able to take that next step as they get towards the end of this season? So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss out on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, fans family. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.